green resin and purple resin. Now resin's done this because I did it with 2 different temperature differences. It's the original design from the fly to the toxic fly. Now to use the best colour part resin, that's why I'm putting the designs on there, trying to utilise that clear patch in the middle.
So there's certain parts of that you know that it's going to look better.
Yeah,
so
in a way the resin was a mistake. I got the temperature differences wrong, so it clouded from the outside.
So it's less about making a resin sheet that will be maximally efficient. This was more...
It's more, yeah, the colours came out better. It's a case of just using it. So we've got the template stuck on the resin now. So it's going to get that into 2 halves so we can then cut it out on the bandsaw. Intricately, should we say.
Have you always had a bandsaw? Have you borrowed it or have you bought it?
No, look, I got it just before lockdown started actually. Panicking that it might not be able to get anything on Amazon. Scroll saw in on a bandsaw, it's dangerous to do. You've got to be careful and whip your finger off so quickly.
Yeah.
You see I've got a little scroll saw to the right of the bandsaw
there.
Yeah. Which is alright if you can cut your resin out on that, but it takes hours holding it down. I've tried all different blades. One day I thought I'll just see if I can use the bandsaw, because obviously the alley core that we're doing in a minute takes some sawing. There we go, we've got 2 halves.
Phew! Is this where you go off and take a deep breath? Okay, I did it. I didn't chop my finger off. I didn't chop the resin in the wrong way.
So now this is a bit different detailing with a bandsaw. Now with these templates, you're going to have to cut them 1 millimetre at least wider than your actual frame's going to be, because there's going to be imperfections from the saw, and you need quite a lot of sanding room to get back to your original shape.
Only 1 mil, or is it better? Would you prefer to leave more, or
Probably
is it just...
the more the better. It doesn't matter with the resin because it's fairly soft compound when you're shaping.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's fairly easier, isn't it? But with the alley,
the alley, yeah. So you want it near enough, bang on with the alley, because it takes a lot. Obviously, imagine a lot more sanding.
Mm.
You can get an idea how quick the bandsaw's cutting on the resin here. Again, you can't rush it because you're carrying the complete shape.
Would you always cut the cores, or do you think if you've got a mould that you like, could you make an alley mould for it and do it?
You'd struggle to get the thickness exactly on an alley cast, I would imagine. I'm just using a piece of 5mm alley plate, which with the resin at 5, 2 layers, gives you a nice 15mm total. Quite a bit of shaping room. Right, this is the alley plate now. You'll notice a difference with the how long it takes to cut.
Same bandsaw for this, or using a different blade on it?
Different blade, yeah. There's a metal blade in there. That's another feat of engineering to change the blade as well.
Yeah, they're not that easy, are they?
To start with, reading the manual and changing it, and reading the manual and changing it, till you work out your alignments and everything.
Yeah, I remember using a bandsaw when I was younger at school, but that was just for like acrylic perspex essentially.
Yeah, fly for it.
Yeah.
Got a nice little edge. I'm just lucky the straight edge on this one comes off, so I can turn it into a scroll saw. I suppose 5mm plate, that's still cutting fairly quickly. It gets hot as well.
I bet.
And obviously there's a lot of background noise at the moment, because you can just see the hoover up there. And I thought, why would you want a hoover stuck to it? Yeah, you do, because it keeps all the dust down off your workpiece, and it keeps all the wheels inside clean. Otherwise everything's just chocking up with the filings. The aluminium filings in workings of wheels, and that's going to wear things out rather quickly.
Yeah.
So there's a reason they put an extraction unit at the bottom. It's only a cheap bandsaw, it's not expensive.
They normal gloves, or have you got the ones if you hit the metal?
They're not. They're just high abrasion gloves, but I don't think they're going to take one touch of that blade, to be honest.
Because these days the knife cutting gloves are incredibly fine, aren't
they have a fine stainless wire in them as
Yeah.
well to stop anything penetrating the skin. These are meant to have a certain cut resistance on the gloves, I think.
But not a bandsaw.
No, I don't think it's a bandsaw.
How about a blender?
Yeah. I did that. I did one of my fingers first day I got that bandsaw.
So that's the level up from the... Everyone's got the catapult. Obviously the ball on the hand shot. Everyone's had that injury. Is the build one the first bandsaw nick?
Yeah, I would say, it was definitely the first nick when I thought, I need to have a bit more respect of a blade spinning around like that. It's not forgiving. Now this bit here, you'll notice I was going forward and backwards a little bit because it's very, very tight corner to put a flat bandsaw blade around. But it's still so much quicker than doing it with this scroll saw. If the turn's too tight, you can just go back with the bandsaw and then forward again and back with the bandsaw and forward again to make yourself a little triangle, give yourself some room to get that angle in. If you can't get the angle in, just shoot off the side and come back in a different angle.
Like cut it off and then go back in.
That's it, and come back at a different angle.
In fairness, I would have done that at that, but then it's getting that fine angle, but...
That fine angle, yeah.
Isn't it?
And you think every imperfection here is going to be a lot of sanding. I think it'll come off the corner there.
So
now,
precision is born out of not
on-
wanting to sand.
Exactly, yeah. less mess you make of that, the better. So that's obviously that's the core cut out there now. So you can see with the diagram, it's pretty close. I know this is resin now. So this is going to be cutting the top off to where they're going to replace an aluminium for the clips. So you have to have a straight edge on there. Again, this is where you've got to watch your fingers now, because that thumb, let's get a finger in behind.
Yeah, because you're trying to keep it flat to the top, aren't you, there?
And I've got to go slowly or it'll just fly through that hot knife. So there we go, that's a bit we're not going to throw that away, we're going to use that. Got a use for that in a minute. Here's our 3 sections. Now the alley here, you're going to get burrs off the saw before we go sticking these together, flat edge, and we just need to clean that alley up. Some of it was oxidised from the sheet I got given anyway. And you do the same with this on the resin as well, but very careful you don't round the edges off because it's so soft. Bear in mind the resin is only poured 2-3 days prior to making this. Really should get a week to harden.
You're getting a bit impatient.
Couldn't wait to make it. You know, it's like you're drawing a design. I just want it in my hand to hold now.
Yeah.
But little bits of prep like this, one, it's going to make the glue sit together. It's not going to leave you horrible gaps and edges in the build of the 3 layers. Because you can look down the side of it, one little burr on there, it's not going to stick together. You're going to have a sandwich of resin, like a Victoria sponge or something, and it doesn't look very nice, does it? We don't want to see any resin bonding the 2 together.
No, I mean that's the thing though, a little bit of prep in anything makes a
things
world of difference, and you tend to only realise it when you get past, 25, 30.
Nearly everything I've learned with polishing that, 90% of any work is preparation, isn't it?
I do the same with restoring frames. You just can't. You've got to get all the dust out. You've got to get the dirt out. You've got to treat it before ye oldie araldite kicks in.
Yeah, here's the oldie special araldite.
Love araldite.
Can't beat this stuff. It's only 5mm araldite, so you do have to work fairly quick with it.
Yeah, I've always got it. Oh, you used the quick bond, did you? Because you just get the regular
5-minute quick bond, which I'm wondering why now.
Yeah.
But then within 2 hours, I could actually take that and start shaping it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'll always leave it till the next day.
Regular araldite's just
as fine.
Yeah. Although I don't like the pre-mixed tubes. They come in with the 2 come at the same time.
Exactly, but one compound's softer than the other, so it never squeezes evenly, does it?
Yeah, no, exactly. Is that a new Araldite tube, and that's why you've still got the plastic thing? Because that just tends to just...
No, I tend to clean it off with a standing plate and use it.
You've got to, because otherwise you just go, oh,
what else can I use for mixing it?
Or it's stuck to something and you can't find it. I ended up using the coffee stirrers, the wooden ones.
Yeah, they're a good idea for it.
They're actually really good for different, because you can use the whole length of it and smear. Or you can
the
just
wider
use the
ones.
Tips, yeah.
Or even like the Costa ones, the thinner ones for detailing work.
That's what I've got for the frames, yeah. Because it bends as well, so you can actually kind of get it into places.
Much better. I did buy me resin, like an old pack of lollipop sticks. They're brilliant for mixing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would Araldite both surfaces here. I don't see any need, as long as they're both clean. You do not need glue on both sides.
You've got to clean surfaces, yeah.
Everyone's different, some people do it different ways.
Well, there's no way you can do that in 5 minutes.
But this looks lovely. You think you stick that together, and that's lovely. It doesn't work like that, it slides around now.
Yeah.
So now I don't want to get any Araldite on the top of that frame. On the top of the aluminium now it's this way. Make sure we're getting the glue on the right side.
Yes.
That's a proper mistake to make. I go and glue the wrong side.
Got to double check. Let it dry, sand it all off.
Sanding. This looks fairly simple. I think you can just stick the 3 bits together and let them dry. No, we need to clamp them and put pressure on them. Yeah. And it's when you clamp them, put pressure on there, everything slides and moves.
Yeah.
And you realise the next day your core's popped out by 2mm one side, has messed up the whole build.
And I'm guessing with your clamps you're going to need something soft at the side of them as well, because that's such a kind of sensitive composite material.
Yeah, and also if we've got Araldite in your gloves on the wrong side of the frame, whenever you clamp it, it's going to stick to it as well.
Yeah.
So I think you might see in a minute. I think I put a little bit of newspaper on the side. Important to get on this very, very top edge, because there are 2 little narrow bits sticking out there, so you can't afford to not have any glue on those. So you realise, have I got the right way up? Yeah.
And exhale. You see it slip then.
Yeah. And now you see the 2 bits of wood.
Yeah.
And you clamp that and check it and undo it, adjust it and undo it. You can see how much wider here.
Well, that's going to give an even
misalignment,
even distribution of the pressure, at least with the it's a wood
and
as well.
See there with the resin sticking out slightly wider. I've got everything lined up in that core.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people do their pins, put 3 cores together with the pins. I like to do my pins afterwards. So now we've got the pillar drill going.
How many times did you check your markings before you went to drill?
Measure twice, cut once, or drill once, should we say. So at the moment I'm actually holding the aluminium clip. It's going to be the clip mechanism on top of the frame. Now these are stuck together with a bit of double-sided carpet tape to stop them moving. So that 3mm hole I'm putting goes through all 3 cores. Bear in mind the top one's removable. So one movement in this and again you've messed up the whole frame. But I tend to do all your drilling in one hit, so that's the other side where your M4 bolt's going to go through. Again, I'm holding it in my hands. I do not want that to move at all. It moves. That hole's not going to be in line. The thing while I'm drilling these, I'm drilling 2 pilot holes for the mosaic pins. Got no hoover on the pillar drill. And that's mosaic pins which I tap with a 3mm, and now I'm going to work up to 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, etc. They're 8mm pins.
They're beautiful pins though.
Nice and expensive, but they are nice.
They do look good though.
I didn't realise they were see-through. You could see all the way through them until I received it.
Oh, they look amazing though.
But it's your final bit of drilling from the 7.5, putting an 8mm drill bit in there. So if you go too quick and it gets too hot for the aluminium, it's going to singe the resin on the other side, and it's going to leave you a horrible gap between the mosaic pin and the frame.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm right. This is working out the sizes, so we can just plunge all the way through. As long as you've got your pilot holes right. surface every time. Now this pillar drill is inexpensive. I think it was £70, something like that. It's only a hobby pillar drill, but the performance of that is amazing. You don't have to spend a lot of money for doing things like this. Different with this in a machinery workshop. But for hobby stuff like
You'd just
this,
be making holes and everything though when you had it.
you see how big the 8mm have got to go there from the holes?
Yeah, that does look huge, doesn't it?
It could be the final 8mm bit now. They go through the resin to the alley. Right, let it clean. Through the alley, let it breathe. And go through again. Tempted just to plunge it right down through.
Yeah.
And then you burn your resin on the other side.
Did it cool quickly though?
Yeah, of course, because the aspidity on the like, natural heat sink, it distributes right
Yeah.
through. Yeah, there's definitely, you see how long I'm taking over the drill, I just don't want to pop that through with the hot drill bit. Right, this is mosaic pins. Now it's only halfway through because they take a long time to cut. I did try them on the bandsaw. I was going to trash the saw blade, I think, on the bandsaw. It's that hard a material.
What's it made from?
I have no idea. It's brass on the outside. And the core only looks like an aluminium core, but it takes some sawing. I thought that's all right, I'll just whiz them straight through on the bandsaw, and I made a dent in it and everything was getting hot. Oh, no point. Okay, here, a file in here, there's M4 rivet nuts to go in there. So we've drilled them out. The M4 rivet nuts are a 4.8mm hole. So a 5mm hole, they're going to be too big and rattle around. And a 4.5mm hole is too tight. So this is where we're filing and filing and filing to get this to fit in there. I don't want it to rattle round. I don't want it to be too hard.
We don't want to have to get a hammer on it and knock it.
If I hammer that in now and it doesn't go all the way through, try and pull it out, I'll just rip the resin off and everything. Just measure the inside as well there. Once it's that last little bit, we can pull it through with the M4 bolt. That final little bit. I tend to put a little tiny drop of super glue just in case they were going to move. Should you shred them, there's no reason you can't put that down and punch out those rivet nuts and replace them. A tiny little dot of super glue, good old super glue. And I got
all over your fingers.
All over my fingers and all over the frame. I'll tell you what, it took some sanding off as well once it goes off. It's worse than epoxy.
Oh.
Now, I'm not using a washer or anything here because there's a huge washers going over the frame there.
Yeah, essentially later, isn't it, with the clips?
Yeah, otherwise you'd be worried about marking now. Just a little tiny pull it into the resin there. Sand in. Drum sander. And then we put all the excess resin off down to the core now and get to our basic shape. I think they're 40 grit, those drums. There's another reason I'm wearing gloves at the moment as well, because honestly this gets very, very hot. After half an hour, so you've got to put it down or chuck it up. You don't want to chuck in a bucket of water because it makes too hard for sanding. At the moment I'm just pulling all the resin off. You need to wear a mask when you're doing this as well.
You're in just a kind of decorator's mask or N95 particle mask or anything?
Just a dust particle mask is fine, really. I quite like the smell of it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good, but you also want to definitely save your lungs.
Yeah. Hopefully you can just see how much resin. See the edges there. See that last bit of green there has got to come out, so I'll just work on that. Now this stage you just cannot rush this now. You just got to take your time over it. You go in too deep and you mess the whole build up. You take too much off one side, you've got to take it off the other side. Nearly flush. Right, this is detailing. This is putting the edges on the frame. We're just putting that chamfer on there. Now a lot of guys, if I had it, can use a router for this. Set your router up and you can just run that round and it'll be identical all the way around.
So this is a lot more tricky doing it this way then, isn't it?
You see the angles you've got to turn the frame to try and keep everything level then.
And obviously the frame itself has got quite a few angles as well. It's not like it's
corners.
straight and you can follow it around, is it?
these are great. These little sanding things, discs. They're just Velcro. You can get them set out from 80 grit down to 2000 grit. So what we're doing now is we're whipping the pins down now. You're going to have to cut your pins proud.
How did they sand then if they didn't cut well on a bandsaw?
They're hard to sand as well. They're really hard, as you can see. And again, when we're sanding these pins, they're going to get hot.
Yeah.
So you see I'm doing a little bit
and you don't want them to melt that.
A little bit on a pin, yeah, and keep moving around, and then we'll flip over and we'll do it on the backs. Meanwhile, the back one's cooling while I'm doing the front one.
Yeah.
This is time consuming. It's only obviously a little snippet here. That's what I think with a lot of people, if they're watching this, might realise how much time goes into a build. You're just seeing a little snippet of this, but I mean, I was out there all afternoon doing those pins to get them right.
Yeah, I mean, that's important for people to see because, obviously you can get catapults of all kind of price, but if you're getting them reasonable,
yeah,
and you see just how much work that it's a labour of love for the person who's doing it, and therefore when people are going, oh, go on, give me 20 quid off or pay for my postage, you think, someone's selling you that for £45.
Yeah, that's really disrespectful.
It's just got to the point, it's covered the materials, the time and love and effort that are going in.
Yeah, again, this is just a little snippet, so we're on 400 wet and dry now. There's no machine to do this.
You are the machine.
You are the machine. Oh, your shoulder aches, your thumb goes numb. I've got a glove on at the moment because I found it wet and drying all the time. Your hands go pulpy, it affects your nails because you're getting resin dust and everything in there. So you think you're going to spend a day with your hands wet. You can see now with 400, just any blemishes with a 400 now. Keep checking, keep drying it off, let it dry in the sun, dry it with a towel. And now on to 1200. This must be the next day.
Definitely the next day.
That's probably the easiest bit to sand, the external curves.
Yeah, the internal, because you just don't get the smooth, the distance, if you know what I mean.
That's it. With the 400, I could probably was putting this on my knee, so I could put a little bit more pressure on the 400 paper, but you can only put so much. Same with the sanded drums earlier. If you run them too hot, you will start melting the resin. So you've got to sand a bit and move it, sand a bit and move it. Again, clean it, wipe it back, have a look how far off we've got. Hopefully the camera does pick it up there now. And more sanding. And more sanding. The more effort you put into this, the better finish. Again, 90% of prep. My favourite part of making a frame is polishing it. Because all this work's done. And within an hour or so, you're going to have that frame like a piece of glass if you've done your prep.
It's the pride though, and also do you get to the point where it's not, you got to learn when to stop. You're not going to damage it, but you just want it that little bit more shiny. Could it possibly
have I
glow
gone too
even
far?
more?
Have I just put a flat on there or something? So it's this is all by eye. It's everything, as with anything handmade. You can be a bit more aggressive with a 1200 because you're starting. Basically, you're polishing. This is the art of polishing. Start course. Now that's my favourite bit. Bit of auto solve. Tending to do the alley frame first, and that you'll see that with the aluminium, the polish goes black. Again, it's windy out there.
That's right. You've got your faithful companion next to you.
My little friend Howard sits and watches me, wondering what is this bloke doing, man.
Why aren't I getting this many strokes? Essentially, that's what it is, isn't it?
Now, this is a rewarding part when you put that first bit of polish off. You can't wait to see what it looks like. You think, well, there we go. There's a lot more polishing to go, yeah. Even now with the polishing stage, we'll polish it, and then you can start seeing imperfections. You need to go back over with some 1200 or the 2000 wet and dry. I'll finish on 2000 before we go to polish it. It's not the end of the world. You look now and think, hang on, there's a couple of machining lines.
I know, but then if you're looking, because this is the one you shoot now, isn't it? So if you're holding it and there's something not going to be right with it, that's just going to trigger.
Not going to be happy with it at all. And again, there's no way you can't get the polish in those rivet pins.
Yeah.
So that again, there's time and effort of cleaning them.
Well, that's when you learnt that the little floss brushes, didn't you?
Yeah, the red dental brushes.
Dental brushes.
Final bit of polish in there. It's more rewarding when you take that little bit off there.
Yeah.
There we go, now we can see the shine. That's looking like a piece of glass.
You can see yourself in it.
Hopefully.
There we go. And there's the
finished article.
There's the posh look. There's the magazine shot right there.
There's a magazine shot. And the matching ammo key. With the same resin, I do ammo key I pour at the same time.
Well, if you're using the one sheet, you've got that.
But no, I need to pour the key. So
you have to
when
pour
I do
the key,
the mix,
yeah?
I have to make the key at the same time in a little mould I made.